Hey, hey. How you guys doing now? I'm trying to set up Nightbot because I have already set up some commands. But today we're going to be doing some 3D text for Blender. Hello, Richesto. How are you doing? Let me first set up a few things. Just want to set up Nightbot so that you can see all the commands and hello, Pratik Nepal. How are you? 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 Well, I thought I had set it up already, but I'm not sure why it's not working. Join channel. Let me see. I think I missed these settings here, so let me see. You have modded Nightbot in the channel. If Nightbot is not modded, it cannot command. I see. Let me see. Just give me a minute. I'm setting up Nightbot here so that we can get into the live stream. I thought I had set it up, but I missed up. Hello, Immortal Soul. How are you doing? Yep. Approved users. Nightbot. Save. Let me see now if Nightbot works now. Let's see. Let me try this command and see. I think I will set it up later because I don't think it's working right now. I am not sure if it's working. So yeah, today we're going to be doing some of these 3D text, and I think I can start with this one here. I am just going to move it to the side. How was your week been, guys? How has things been with you guys? Yeah, we're going to make a few of these, and all the project files are going to be available on my Patreon page. One of you edit me a video, love from India. You want me to edit your video? What kind of video is that? As a creation, how long is this video going to be? I'm not sure myself, but usually the live streams are 2 hours, and we're going to be making a few different versions of text. So let's get into it right away. So I'm just going to start with the text object. I'll rotate this on the X 90 degrees, go to edit mode. I'll call this 3 because I want this to be rotated just a bit. And you know what, let me just save some space, drag this to there, expand this. Okay, yeah. Oh, Nightbot is working. Amazing. But my internet is down. Okay, so let me see. I'm seeing some comments here. Hello, thanks for the content. I really appreciate it. I would like to see some VFX stuff. Bukenya John, how are you doing? How are things, man? Anyway, so about VFX, as I said, doing VFX takes quite a lot of preparation. So that's why you haven't seen me do that. But I'll try and see. Let's try this font. It doesn't look good. We need to get a very bold font. Let's try this. Use the same font. And let's going to bring this back. Just have this here. I'll grab this, set up my camera. No, I don't like this font. Let's find some fonts. Maybe Google fonts, or just free fonts. Free Fire animation gameplay. Yeah, sorry, I might not have time to do any editing for anyone. Get caught up quite a lot. By the way, speaking of that, you can. I've revamped my website, Blender and Beyond. If you go to if you go to this link, or if you type in the command website, this link now has this website has now been revamped to this. You can watch text tutorials or GIF tutorials. Let me get you one. So something like this, how to make this, and all it is it's a GIF showing you how to set this up very quickly. So something like in 10 seconds, you can see how to set up something like this. And let me see. So yeah, if you want to get some basic steps, you can come into this video. It gives you the basic explanations of how everything works, and yeah, that's it. So the command is just exclamation mark website, and it should take you to the Blender and Beyond website. So let's get ourselves a nice font here. I think we can also use this. Download this. Okay, let's first go back and maybe set up the lighting and everything before we get into. So let me add a plane for the background, for the ground, and just going to edit this. Let me turn on my screen keys. Select this loop, round it off, so we have something like this. Let's set up our lighting. Hello, Abdul Malik. How are you doing? And for the lighting, you can see that we have a light around here. Let me give this a bluish color or greenish color like that. And you can play with the roughness, the specular, or the roughness like that. Maybe something like that. Now let's make this actual 3D text. Let me turn on random colors and maybe cavity. So you can go to the geometry, extrude. We need to use the extrude feature. I'll do the same here. Extrude, and we have now our 3D element. But if you look closely, there are different. This uses a different texture here. So, hello, Vlad Tepez. How are you doing, Brakal? Just got the note. Glad. I'm glad to hear that. Just round these corners off a bit, just like that. Now let's also add the mockup thing, the mockup text. Just drag this down, and remember this is supposed to be animated, so this is smoke up, or we can just do your text here. So actually I want it to be your text here, and I'm just going to, under the character spacing, I don't think I should work with that, but we want this to have a lot of depth, so I can select the camera and change it to something to a very wide camera, and bring the camera closer. Let's try 15. This is just going to give us more, make this more three-dimensional. Now let's work with the lighting. Let's see how this is looking in a 3D. First, let's set up some lighting, some extra lighting. I'm going to use my texture folder add-on, and I think, let me see. Let me navigate to my skies texture and find myself a nice HDRI to use. Maybe something like this has some nice reflection. Use that. Now I can turn off all the lights See how things are. Turn on ambient occlusion. Maybe make this a bit more pronounced. Something like that. And this also seems to be a bit on the ground. So something like that. Can also turn on screen space reflections. Let me bring back this light. It's too powerful, so I'll just use maybe 100. Make it an area light so that we can set up. We can have some soft shadows. We can have this light around there. Still a lot of light, so let's try 10. And then maybe another one on this side. We can also light up the background a bit. Just add a light in the background there. Increase. Maybe. Actually, that's a lot. Can even give it some color. And I'm going to select the camera and give it a pass out so that we can see just the text. I'm also going to give this a slight rotation, and this as well. Maybe even extrude this a bit further, and this like that. Now, and maybe also give this bigger resolution extrusion, not offset, but extrusion like that. Let me extrude this, and just change the character spacing. Maybe even center the text. So there is some detail here in the middle. So for that, we're just going to create a new material. I want this to be quite reflective. I'd be a reflective surface, and maybe even add a clear coat. This is going to use, these are all going to use the same material. So same, they should also use the same material. So just call this text 1. Just paste that in there like that. Now I want to create this line here, so what I can do is just get this, and I'm going to add a texture input texture coordinate. We're going to use some the object option. So I'm going to add a convert math node and convert separate xyz because I want to separate the y element, I think. Yeah, so we have a gradient that actually is the z element for this, like that. And I can use, in the math operation, I can use absolute, and that should give me a line in the middle like that. And this line is just changing the negative values into positive values. So what I can do is add another math node and change this to round off, which will round off all the values between here. Let me see. And I think I can add a convert math node because the values might be too small. So let me scale this up. Yeah, something like that. And I can see we get a gradient like that. Oh, let me use greater than. I will give us this, basically giving us this here. Let me try explaining this again because this is some procedure nodes that you might be interested in. So the first thing we did here is get the object coordinate maps, the object coordinates, and separated the z coordinates, giving us a gradient here. The gradient starts from, I think, -1, then negative 0.9, 0 point something. From all these values here, they might look black, but there are some negative values here. And where the white gradient starts is at 0 and then goes to positive value. So the middle here is at 0, and then black values go up to negative values, and then white values go to positive values. So when we use the absolute option, we are basically cutting off, we're basically changing all the negative values back to positive, giving us a mirror of whatever this was, because remember, values from the center here to this side, let me get this. So values from here we start at 0, and going this side, we were going up. So maybe 0, 0.1, 0.2, up to 1 here. And here we're going from 0 to negative 0.9, negative 0 point something, until we get to a value of negative 1. So using absolute is just making these positive values as well, giving us a mirror of whatever is this side. So let me clear this, and then remember, we are working, and then this multiply is just basically multiplying the values to make them larger values. So if it's 0.1, it's multiplying it, but whatever value is, we give it here to make that value larger. That's why you see that this is expanding and or reducing if we go to very small values. Hello, Dr. Zigzag, how are you doing? Hello, Oxy Graphics, how are you doing? Okay, so then the greater than sign is just cutting off any values. It's just cutting off any values below this threshold, and that's why we get this value. So then we can use this as a color mix RGB factor, and we can use, you can set the color one to be maybe a red, and this one can be, I don't know, a white, like that. And then just have let's see, have this as the base color, I like that. Let's change this to a more, I think what would look better is if we used, let me see, a gradient color like this. It looks much better. So we can just get a gradient color like this and use it as color one instead of using a solid color. So we have something like that. It looks much better. So this is what we get. We can still use this gradient in other places. This mask we have created, we can use it as, let's do a vector bump map. So I'm going to use it as the height map for this. Connect this to the normal, and can see what we get, something like that. So let's look at how this looks in cycles. And let's see, just going to turn down the light a bit, the world light a bit, at something like 0.5, so that we have more control. Let me go to turn on denoising a bit here. I'm great, Zigzag. Great, I'm doing great. Let me make this, maybe even just mix this a bit. Let's get the mask again. Just want to use color here. Just to change the color a bit. Okay, so this is, let me play with this. Now all we have to do is play with, I can see this, see how this looks. Now let's do some, let me first switch back to Eevee, animate this a bit. So what we can do is, let me expand my curves here. We can start animating this one by one. So I'm just going to add a keyframe here. Just go to frame. Let me also change the resolution of this, the frame rate to 60. I'm going to select both of these, go to frame 60, insert a keyframe, insert a location and rotation and a scale keyframe, and then go back to frame something like frame 10. Grab this, move this down, and then scale it down like this. Now if we play back, it just comes up like this, and I think we can bring these frames closer like that. And then maybe let's first go back to this, turn this to individual origins, so that we can give these a random rotation. So I'm just going to randomly rotate these. Now if we go back to the camera, we get something like that, but I can offset the animation of these, so one comes after the other. Like that. And what we can do is, if you use Control Tab, and let's go to the, let's go to the Z. Hello Live FF, how are you doing? Can go to the Z location. Let's isolate that for a second. We can make an interesting curve animation here, and by just changing these curves a bit, playing with these curves a bit. Thank you, LiveFF. Yes. I want to give this a slight animation. Just change the animation a bit. It's going to look like it's bouncing a bit. I like that. I think it's much better. See, it makes the animation more interesting. So I'm also going to do this for the D. So let me isolate the Z location. Just push this like that, and do the same for this, so we get that bouncy effect like so. I don't know if we can do this for the rotation. So rotation, we have the rotation Z. Let's try doing the same for the rotation Z. Bro, are you a freelancer? Yes, I am a freelancer. Yes, I am a freelancer. Anyway, so come to this. I'll do the same for the rotation here. Let's see. Let me see. Let me just make this a bit exaggerated. Okay, let me bring it down and see. I think we are not going to do this for the rotation. It doesn't really look as good. But what we can do is animate the text a bit to come after this jumps in at around here. You can also do the same for. I know I haven't really set up any new courses. Most of the courses I have are very old, but yeah. So let me do the same here. I'll bring this down, go to the Z location of this, and do the same. So just give them a slight rotation. Okay, they seem to be too fast. So like so, and maybe they shouldn't. Yeah, I haven't really checked out any new courses, so yeah, I don't really have any good recommendations. And we can now offset this to come after. something like that. Maybe here it's scaled down. This sort of scaled down. So we have something like that. And I think I'm just going to move my camera a bit down and then up like that. Cool animation. Thank you. Sorry, I can't read that. I'm not sure how to read the language. Okay, so let me increase this to something like 1000. And you can see these lights here also give us those reflections, so we can make them wider to have. I think I'm going to change this to rectangle. So we have that nice reflection in there. I think I can give this a power. Let's try 100. Okay, 100 is a bit too much. 30. It's like Russian. Yeah, I think I can see that, but yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyway, this is what we have for the 3D text. Of course, you can change the colors and maybe even change the color of the light a bit if you want to have something like that. I think it's better to leave it as a neutral color like that. And for this here, I'm just going to change this to a rectangle so that I can make this, let's see, 5 and 1. I want to make this light a bit wider. Let's see if I use a disk. Doesn't seem to change much. Somewhere like that. So let's play this back again and we have something like that. And if you want, you can even add a particle system. So I'm just going to rotate this 90 degrees. Bring this around here in the back. And let's create some particles. Some random particles. So something like that. And this is going to be a particle emitter. So particles, and we want it to emit the particle, start emitting the particles at around here, this frame. So it's going to start at frame 40 and end at frame 60. How long? I have long wanted to do this. Sorry, I know bad English, but this is, I don't know, like I think I can understand you. English is not that bad. At least I can understand you. So let's see. And yeah, you see, we want the particles to start around here, and we want this to shoot up, and then fall down. Okay, that's a bit too much. So let's try 2 or 3. Maybe that's 5. Velocity of 5. We want them to shoot up, and maybe in different directions as well. So I'm just going to add a loop, push it out like that, and under our, let's go, our render, I want to change this to object or collection. Actually, we can just use a single object, and I'm just going to select this piece here, and the particles, let's see. Let's try again. See how things are going. They're going in different direction. I want to create the same particles as you see here. So that's the look we're going for. So what we can do, hello Reja, Kiril MA Studios, thank you now for Azam. Okay, so we want to change to randomize the scale a bit, the velocity, also turn on rotation. I want to have some angular momentum for these as well, so I'm just going to do the same here. Randomize the rotation. I want to use, let's see if that would work. Yeah, that's good. But I think the particles, we actually want the particles to just be emitted within one frame. So it's like a poof. So that's like a poof effect. And I think we might need, instead of using a plane, we can use a cube. So let me just add it here and get rid of this plane. And I'm going to add a subdivision to this and just have this above the curve. And I think I can also apply this and just rotate this, delete this bottom part because we don't want particles to be emitted down there, going in this direction. So let's see. I think the other thing is that is not helping is the gravity. Gravity is too high. It's too much for these particles. I remember there would be papers, so they wouldn't be affected with that much gravitation. So, and maybe our velocity is a bit. Actually, let me try scaling this like this. Bring the velocity down a bit. Yeah, I think somewhere like that, you see, we get the same effect. All we need to do now is make sure that this object is not actually linearing by going in instancing and turning off the viewport. So I think maybe the timing for this should be a bit different. This should come in a bit earlier, and same with this should come in a bit earlier. And just going to make sure that it doesn't go up too much. Same with this, just make sure it doesn't go up too much. Actually, yeah, the timing of this is still a bit off. And maybe it's not centered very correctly. So I don't need the X and Y keyframes. So, and for the Z, let me first grab this. Should be around there. Now let's see. So now our particles need to be retimed. So we want to have the particles start emitting at around frame 23 and end emitting at, let's see. What we can do is just position a lot of these emitters. So we can have one here and another one maybe in this direction and another one in this direction, another one maybe up here. So we have something like that, but we can also scale down on the particles or play with the scale randomness here. So they are not all the same size. And that is this text here. You can make it look nearly the same. Yeah, so that's the first text. Remember, we have quite a few other texts we want to do here. So let's go for this here. Looks kind of great. Has a nice gradient and a disco effect. So let's save this. Open a new blend file. Ctrl N. Go to image. And let me just drop it in here as well. Just grab this. This shouldn't be difficult. I think we can set up the camera to be at the top. Let's go in there, add a plane for the background. I'm just going to scale it up, and I can start with this. Let me first go to set up the lighting and everything, the camera. Just make sure this is has a pass out. I like that. Let me bring this down a bit. Okay. We can give this the same purple look, but maybe a bit darker. For the light, let's give it a yellowish color like that. Let's try maybe giving it a white. Okay, so this is our starting point. If there's anyone that already reads my mind, it's you, bro. Thank you. It's been faster than I thought. These are not really that difficult. So let's add a text object. I don't really see a lot of tutorials about text in Blender, so that's why I'm doing this. So let's go with the text. Your text. Let's just do best as well, in the same. And let me turn on random colors. Go into material mode. Like this. And go to let's see go to the object data and just change the font. Let me just make sure this is caps. Let's get a closer font to that. I think an area bold or area black, area bold, area. Let's see what font can we get here. Let's try this. It's not. Let's try this. Doesn't see. Anyway, any font can work. Let's go with this, and just to make it italic, you can use the shear. That would be to give it that kind of look. Now we can